Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Waga. We're going to continue building our SwiftUI Instagram clone, and what I'd first like you to do is to ask you to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a comment in the comment section, and like the video while you're at it. What we're going to do today is we're going to work on the UI elements of the following. Of the ability to follow, rather, not the following. I wasn't going to sequence a bunch of things we're going to do. Of the UI elements of the search and the follow. We covered the backend, the code that powers it in the past video. But basically what we're going to do is when you click on this and you search for users and we type P and we get our users, we get password, we log in, and we're going to build this page by using the remnants of the profile, so it won't be a lot of heavy lifting. Like, we've already done this. We're just using the same components and passing in different inputs, right? Same components, different inputs. Of course, this one is we could put a bit more padding around it because it sticks to the end, so that everything is within the same. Yeah, we'll do all that, and we'll also work on this button, this follow and unfollow button. When you click on it, okay, it takes a bit of time to register, but yeah. So okay, yeah. So we're going to also work on this button, which shows either follow or unfollow depending on the state. It checks on whether we are following the user or not, and it does so, and it also notifies our profile header here that we are following somebody or we are unfollowing somebody. Yeah, basically that. So that's what we're going to work on today. And the first thing we could do is we could come to the component. Should have been components, but let's just leave it as component. And the first thing we're going to do is create the follow button, right? We're going to use, basically, if you notice, we use the same button everywhere, right? This button is basically, this edit profile button, which we're going to hook up later, is the same button that we use in sign in, is the same button that, let's log in as Patrick again, Patrick at Gmail. It's the same button. So visually you could make the buttons different if you want, but I thought that once we get a button, we can just use a button and use the modifiers, right? We created the button modifiers in the component so that we no longer have to think about buttons and we can think about other things, right? I believe we have covered that in one of the first videos. Okay, give it a second, and we can come here and we check that we're following someone. We don't have any posts here. So the first thing we could do is we could come to the components, right? And we could hit Command N, and we want a SwiftUI file, and it's going to be called follow button, right? And we hit create, and you give it a second, and in the follow button, what we won't see the visual of, okay, we don't really need to see a visual. It's just the same button that we use, and we're going to pass in the button modifier. So what we could do though is we could have the observed object, and we want to look at the follow service, right? If you can remember the last video, follow service. If you can remember the last video, let's save that. Where is it? The follow service is an observable object, right? So yeah, so basically we want to observe it like so, and after that we want to have a user, and we can say the user is going to be of type user. Of course, we have covered the user a bit, and we're going to have 3 binding variables. We could say at binding var, and this is going to be following count, which is going to be of type integer, and the next one is going to be at binding var follower. Is it follower or followers? Okay, followers, because we use followers here, so let's call it followers count of type integer like so. And the third and final one is going to be the one that checks at binding var follow check like so, and this is going to be a boolean, either you're following or you're not, so true or false, right? And it's going to have an initializer, and we can come here and say init like so, and we're going to have when it starts off, the user is going to be the user, the follow check is going to be bindable boolean, like so, and the following count is going to be a bindable integer, like so, and finally the followers count is going to be a bindable integer, like so. So we have those, like so, and let's just put this code, the visual code, so that it stops complaining, right? And what we could do is we could have a button, like so, and in it we could say the action we want to perform is going to be, we could put it here, like so, and we could come here and we could have a text, and the text is going to based on the follow check, so we could tell self dot follow check whether or not you're followed. It's going to show, let's put a bit of space because we don't want it to seem like an optional, we want it to be a ternary. We could say either unfollow or follow, depending on whether it yields a true or false, right? Like so, right? And after that, we could just add a modifier here, right? The modifier that we created, I think we're more than 10 videos away from making this modifier. So we're just going to add this modifier, for which we use for all our buttons. You should be familiar with it right now. So we could say dot, I covered it in a video, I can't remember which video. It's a few days since that happened. A few weeks actually. Button modifiers, right? Like so. So it's going to stop complaining. And now we can come back and in our initializer, okay, we can get rid of our preview provider so it stops complaining. We could mothball it like that, and here we could use a bunch of we could set a couple of things. We could say self dot user is going to be the user, like so, and then after this we're going to say self dot underscore, so that we can make it private. We could say follow check. We don't want to use it anywhere else. Outside here we could say it's going to be follow check, like so, and after that we can say self dot underscore following count, and this is going to be following count, like so, and then it's going to be self dot underscore followers count, right? And this is going to be let's give it space. This is going to be followers count, like so. So we save that, and after that we could have a function. Let's create a function, and the function in question that we want to create is the function that will fire off right when we press the button, right? So we could say func, it's going to be called follow, and it's going to check whether we are following a user or not. That's the first thing we need to check, so that we can unfollow them if we are following them, right? And the opposite if we are not, right? We could say, so if not, self dot follow check, right? And remember, self dot follow check, if we can go back to the follow service, right? Let's go to the follow service. We started off as false. Where do we have it? Is the profile service follow check? Yes, follow check. We assume that you start off not following a user, right? You could start off by no, but that would be weird, right? We have to start off not following a user, right? So basically that is my what's it called? That's my Pomodoro timer. Okay. How do I get rid of it from the, okay, fine, that's gone from the screen. Let's just finish this code, and then I can take my break and continue on. Okay, so what we could say here is we could because we have created the follow service here, we could just say follow service, and we could say dot follow, like so, and this one will take the user ID. If you can remember, we made it in the previous video, right? So this is going to take the user ID, like so. No, user.uid, right? So the following count is going to be, we could use a code in there, right? We could come here and say, just clean this out. So we could say following count like so, and put code there. And what we're going to have in here is we're going to take the following count and say, we could say here the following count, and the following count we would say in, oh, I don't know, it's not very helpful, the autocomplete sometimes. So we say following in, and we just set the following count. We could say self dot following following count is going to be the following count, like so. And after this, we could have another code block here, and this is going to be the followers count, like so. This is going to be the followers count. Okay, is it? No, not the private one. The followers count, like so. And we could do the same thing here. We could say in, same problem. In space, then go down, right? And we could say self dot followers count, like so, and it's going to be the followers count, right? Followers count, right? Like so. And after that, let's see the end of this. We just set the, now we are following them, right? After we run this code, we are sure that we are following them. So self.followCheck, we set it to true, right? After we have done this, right? That means that we are following them. Now it's time to do the opposite, right? So where does the if start? We can put the else statement, and the else statement is basically, it's more or less the same, right? So we could copy the code inside here. We could come here and copy this, the code, because it just does the opposite thing, right? And the service we want first is going to be the unfollow rather than the follow service. We created follow and unfollow, if you can remember. And this is going to be following count in self.following count is following count, and self.follower count is follower, so is followers count. And the last thing we need to do is here we need to set it to false. That means we have unfollowed the user. We could say self.followCheck, and this is going to be set as false, like so. So basically that is the function that we're going to run every time we hit our button. And we could come here to action. Now we could do it like this. We could get rid of the braces so that we just say follow, like so. Yeah, so that's our button. When we put it on the screen, will decide to follow or unfollow a user depending on what we press, and we can continue from there. What we need to do is we need to set up the user's profile view, right? The one that when we search for this, let's search for password. When we click on it and we search, see this, that's what we should do, right? We should set it up. And how we do that is we come to views, and we could call it, we could hit command N. It's a SwiftUI view, right? So we call it users profile, capitalize the P, of course, users profile view, like so. Hit create, and can get rid of the preview, and come here, and what we want first is basically, let's create, we need the user first, so we could say var user, who's going to be of type user, like so. And after the user, we need a state object. We could make it a state object, like so. State object, one word, state object. And this is going to be var profile service, which is going to be an instance of the, you guessed it, profile service, like so. And we're going to have this grid, so we basically need code from from our profile view, right? So what we need here is we need this line. We actually need these two lines. Because we can't log out from this screen, we don't need the listen function, right? I created it a few videos back. So we come back here, and in the profile view, you won't be able to log out from the screen. so we don't need to listen, right? So we say oh, we're repeating ourselves, so we don't need the profile service. We could get rid of this. I've explained this in the video in creating the profile, so I'm assuming you are comfortable with creating grids and whatnot. If you're not, just have a look at that video, right? So what we could do now is I think we have everything we need. The next thing is we could have a scroll view. Basically, a lot of this is exactly the same. So we could go back to our profile header, and in our profile header we could copy this profile header like so, and in our user's profile we're going to have this. We're going to paste it here. So we have this, but we don't have the user session. Remember, we don't have session here because we can't log out from this screen, like I've said. So the user here is just going to be the user. The post count is going to be profile.post count. The following is going to be bound to that, the following, and the followers is going to be bound to that. So basically we have that, right? And after that we could save and we come back to profile, use as much code as we can from there. The next thing we need is our messaging button, right? Not our messaging, our following button, right? And how we do that is we come here and underneath this, wait, let me just have a look. No, we haven't given any padding here, but the button has padding, right? So yeah, so we could come back and we could have an H tag. Let's just put an H tag here like so, and we could have the follow button like so. And the follow button, the arguments, let's just click so that it can fix them. And the user is going to be user like so, and the follow check is going to be bound to the profile service dot follow check, right? And the next one is going to be bound to profile service wait, this one is profile dot follow count, right? Following count. Okay, it sounds clumsy, but that's how we did it. Following profile service dot following count, and the next one is going to be profile service dot wait, let me just have a look. Profile service dot, this is supposed to be, oh sorry, this is supposed to be following, right? Profile service dot, we don't have a it's profile service dot following, right? And the followers count is going to be profile service dot followers. Okay, so we have done that, and we can give it padding, and we could give it padding here, and let's look, how does it look here? Wait, I want to make them look as alike as possible. There seems to be some padding here. Just a second. Seems to be more padding here, right? So let's just make the padding horizontal, like we're doing it in the profile, like so. We save that, and after that we now need our picker, and rather than type out all that code, let's go back to profile, and we can pick our picker like so. It's going to be exactly the same, right? So we could just pick the picker, copy, come to our profile, user profile view, and underneath it paste our picker like so. And afterwards it's going to complain about selection. I thought we didn't copy did we? Okay, fine. Let's just go back to profile and copy selection, right? And the selection, it starts off at 1. If you want to start it off at 0, you are free to do so. I'll start mine off at 1. Or maybe let's start it off at 0. What's wrong with that? And after that we can come to profile service, and the next thing we need to do is pick the selection, right? That's the first selection. And where does the else? We can get rid of this line, right? We don't have the issue of logging off, so logging out, right? I've explained this video. That's in the previous video. So if you're having a problem and you don't understand that, you can just check out the video, like if you've forgotten. And we could come here, and the first selection is this. Okay, let's just undo that. Come back to profile view, and we need to copy the if selection. Let's copy it correctly. So we copy the if selection. We come here, and the next thing we need to do is okay, like so, and we can paste that if the selection is 0, like so, and we can save that. And then we want the opposite of that, and we don't have any constraints regarding the logging out, right? And yeah, and what it could do to our posts, we already saw that. So we could just copy the else immediately, right, and ignore the self.session. We don't have a session here. And where does this end? So that ends there. So we put our else, and yeah, and it's complaining here because we haven't imported the SD web, whatever it's called, web image SwiftUI, right? And we can copy it. It's called SD. Let's just come here, copy this SD web image, blah blah blah, like so. Come here, copy it, paste it, like so, and our problems more or less go away, right? So basically so that when a user clicks, they're taken to the user's this user's page. Have we done everything? Wait, we forgot to put the posts actually. Yeah, we forgot to put the posts. So no, we actually did put the posts. They're in the else, right? But there's something we forgot to do. Oh yeah. We forgot to put the, you can see here the name, the password name is up here in the navigation bar. You could do it, but the password is also here. So what information could we put up here? We could put the email, but okay, I don't know. Let's just put the name. I have let's put the name. So that ends there. That ends there. The scroll view. So in the scroll view, right? And remember, automatically, because we put the inline in our custom tab bar, if you can look, it's called custom tab bar. Yeah, I think so. And so we can just say navigation, and bar title, like so. And this is going to be the text, and we can just have the username or whatever you want. We could say self.user.name, like so. So we have our username, and another thing. Oh, why is this complaining? Oh, it's not name, it's supposed to be username, right? So username, right? Yeah, that's the issue. And we need an on appear here. We could say on appear, and what we want is we could run this called code block. We could say self.profile service dot load user post, and the user ID is going to be self.user.uid, right? And that's where we're going to get it. So basically we have sorted out this issue of not having a name here, and also loaded our post when we start off, and we can save this. And the next thing is just placing it inside our user profile, so that when you search we get the user, right? So under the user in the for each, we could come here, and I was having issues with the code, right? And yeah, I was having issues with the code, and the issue with the code is that it doesn't show the divider, right? The divider is shown vertically when you put the navigation bar, navigation title. So we probably have to get rid of the divider or sort it out. So this is, we can say navigation link, or we'll see the issue and try and figure it out. Navigation link, and this is going to be the destination. We called it user profile view, like so. And it's going to take a user. It needs a user, like so. And the user we're going to pass in is just going to be the user that we have here, right? And the code block, we could wrap the entire image around it, right? And so we come here, and this is the h stack. So under the h stack and the divider, like so. So we could come here and we could put the code there, like that. And we could save it, and we could try run it and see what happens. whether that was an issue then, or cross your fingers, hope there are no errors. Right, so if we come here, we have our one user. If we search for P, you see this divider is being slanted towards. So I don't know. Let's try. If we put it in the H stack, well, let's try putting it in the H stack. We hit copy like so. Come here, paste it like that, and do this. Save, run it again. And come here and put the password. Okay, the divider has to go. It clearly is not I don't know, it was working well when I'm not sure what's up with the divider, right? Yeah, I have no clue. Let's try that and see what happens. And if we run it again, the divider seems to be problematic. Anyway, styling things is usually the hardest part, right? UX design. Let's put the P, and oh god, we now get two hideous dividers going vertically. Why are the dividers going vertically? Okay, let's just get rid of the dividers, right? Like so. We save and we run it again, and now we're just going to go into the code and let's work on the profile. On the user profile view, it's fine without the divider. The user can tell, like yeah, and when we click here we get the, yeah, it's okay, looks the same. It starts off on 0 rather than 1, and if we switch to 1 we get our that, and we can like, let's try liking, and we can like the image, right, and we can unlike, and yeah, basically that. But it's still I think in profile, if we come to profile, if you notice we come to profile, we do have some padding somewhere. Do you have padding on the entire thing? Or why does it seem more condensed? It seems a bit more condensed. This is just could we just put padding on the entire VStack? Wait, let's put padding like that. Save, come back, and okay, now we've basically finished what we want to do. Now we're just making it look a bit prettier, right? That's the main concern, right? Wait, this one has no post, right? But the padding makes it okay. The space between let's come, that's the entire scroll view. Oh, here things are not in a VStack, right? Let's put some padding here. Let's say padding like so. Run it, and we can say P, hit that, and okay, it looks a bit okay, let's leave it as it is. Okay, this is fine. Remove the padding and the profile service. Also, let's remove the padding. Let's remove the padding on the VStack. Okay, let's leave things as they are. Thank you for watching, and I think we have everything here because we see the P and yeah, the password, and okay, and we can follow and give it time. Okay, it takes a bit of time to warm up, but let's check the effect. Let's check the effect. We have one following. Okay, let's go back and unfollow. I'd forgotten even to check that everything works. Right, you can just type code, and yeah, so if we hit 0, it takes a bit of time. Okay, now it's 0, right? And we have 0. Okay, fine. So basically our following and unfollowing works, right? That one can be confirmed. Follow like that. Okay. Oh, sorry, I actually saved this, but anyway. So basically our code works. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section, like the video, and I will see you in the next video.